So, writing one liners to demonstrate our related skills is really the heart of your resume. Since this is such an important step, we are going to really take this slow and be considerate from moving forward from here. First thing, it's important to know what is a one liner. A one liner is simply a one line sentence describing how you have already used a skill and ability that you plan to use at your next job or academic achievement. Sometimes a one liner is actually taking up multiple lines on a resume, sometimes two, maybe even three. But at the end of the day, it's still going to be called a one liner. One liners usually action statements, meaning that they show you in action and are usually starting off with an action word. A one liner in some cases might not be an action statement, but instead is a detailed listing of equipment, tools, or knowledge that you know how to use that relate to your job objective. For example, all the computer programs, systems, hardware, and software that you're familiar with. In that case, would look something like computer knowledge, and then you would list all of those software and skills that you have, such as Microsoft Word, Excel, PageMaker, and Microsoft iOS. On the following pages, I've provided you a couple helpful tips that are going to help you along the way. From there, we're going to be writing our own one-liners to describe the skills and us in action. It's also important to remember, if you have any more questions on sort of what these action statements or one-liners look like, what I want you to do is look at the sample resumes that I provided in our resume folder. So as you see here, I provided you with a list of action words, or also verbs, as we might call. But we also are really looking at these action words that are more language for a resume. So if we look at this idea of categorizing them by topics such as managing, researching, technical, teaching, clerical, helping, communicating, creating, right? We also have all these other subcategories of verbs such as acted, conceived, created, customized, etc. What you're going to want to do is, before you write your sentence, think about what skill or job you held and read through all of these words and see if you, at any point in that career or in that job or that task, developed or directed or established, evaluated, et cetera, et cetera. And that way you can really use these to your advantage. So that way, if you're thinking, oh, well, maybe I did consult with a client about their hair and makeup for a photo shoot, even if that hair and makeup photo shoot is simply maybe homecoming pictures, right? So if it's something that we have done that's maybe doesn't seem important, by using these action words, we can really make those little things that we've done that might not seem like big jobs, we can make them seem really important and significant and really show you in action. Okay? So really be sure that you look at this list when starting each individual sentence for your one-liners. On the next page here, I've provided a list of some good one-liners that I've taken from several different resumes. Notice that at the beginning of every single one-liner here, they start off with an action word. So in this case, the word is wrote. So for this one-liner, someone wrote several long reports using Microsoft Word using a Windows computer. Now, what I want to mention and point out here is that they're being very specific. So they wrote several long reports using a Microsoft computer with a Windows computer, or with Microsoft Word with a Windows computer. As we move down, we see another action word, which is tutored other students in basic word processing. Essentially, what this statement's saying is that somebody helped somebody else use a computer. But by using the word tutored, and instead of saying friend or brother or sister, they say student. And then instead of just saying computer, they say basic word processing. In that case, Microsoft Word or Google Docs. So if we keep looking down our list here, we see that every sentence starts off with an action verb. So an action word like sold. And then we also have these very specific details like sold advertising space to local businesses. But then they add a result. So the important here thing too, whenever possible, you want to provide specific provable success at the end of that statement. So here we see that they raised $2,500 for a junior class trip. And as we keep looking through here, we notice that they all start with a action word. When we get to the actual assignment here, we see that we have a list of 3, okay? On our job experience, we had 4. What I want you to do is pick the top 3 that you think you can really build off of the most. So even if that, maybe one of these is the last one that you ended up thinking of and choosing for your step 5, it's important to think about what can we say the most about the skill or job or experience that we've done. So in this case, so maybe related experience was babysitting, but instead of saying babysitting, we're going to say childcare. And we want to make sure to remember that we are always making everything for these final bits in red. Now, when we think about writing our one-liner, again, we want to go back to our action words. So if we are providing childcare for children the ages of 8 to 6, that would be a great one-liner. So providing childcare, or we could say services, children, we'll say between the ages of 6 and 8. So again, we're providing, so we're starting with a action word, and then we have child services for children, but instead of stopping there, we are adding between the ages of 6 and 8. So we're being very specific with an end result. Now, even though we're saying providing child services for children between the ages of 6 and 8, we could, really, we just maybe watched our little brother or sister or cousin while our aunt or our parents were away, right? So really being, creative with thinking about what these small tasks are and how do we elevate them through language and action words.